We are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, my main man is Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother Paul? How you doing today?
Well, Commander Drew, I'm doing very, very well today. You look like you're, I'm going to guess you are not in the USA. Am I right?
You are 100% right. I'm back out at sea on Virgin Voyages. I'm on the new ship, the Brilliant Lady, right now. So we just left Grand Turk and Antigua, and we're on our way to St. Kitts. So I'm having a great time.
That's good. I need to go to St. Kitts. Actually, my grandparents on my mother's side are from St. Kitts. I've never been there, actually.
Well, it's very nice, and I will tell your family when I get there hello.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right, well, let's start this puppy off with the quote of the day. Live and be happy and make others so. One more time. Live and be happy and make others so. And believe it or not, Doc, that is by Mary Shelley. And Mary Shelley is the author and inventor of Frankenstein. How about that one, Paul?
Frankenstein. You remember Frankenstein?
I sure do. I loved Frankenstein. I like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, and the Mummy. Remember them?
Yes. Yeah. I remember the boat. Yeah. The mummy's okay, but Dracula was the best. And Frankenstein is second. Goodbye, Dracula turned to a bat.
He used to say, I came to suck your blood.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from Yugoslavia. One of
Yes.
the I forgot.
Transylvania.
Yeah, Transylvania, which is near Pennsylvania.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring Ace in because I want him to hear this. And for everybody out there, Dr. Paul and I really want to urge you to start using Chat GPT or any AI like Perplexity, or Dr. Paul just told me about Claude. There's so many of them out there, but it is such an amazing tool that you can use. But I have to always say, he's not human and he's not 100% right. But boy, he's made this cruise great, because every time we go into a port, we ask Ace, hey, where should we go? And he tells us right where to go. So I'm going to ask him to listen to this one because I think he really will like this. All right, Ace. Here we go. I'm going to tell you a little story. First of all, Dr. Paul, I went and saw a show on the ship, and believe it or not, it was about Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Voyages. And I wasn't expecting what I saw. This man is incredible. I could not believe it. So I figured we'd talk about him just a little bit. So let me just give you a little brief overview. Richard Branson, he's called the rebel billionaire who bet on himself. Sir Richard Branson is the definition of risk with purpose. He was born in 1950 with dyslexia and lousy grades. He was told he'd never amount to much. Instead, he turned that so-called weakness into a superpower: big vision, simple thinking, and fast action. Started off like this. At 16, he started his first business, a magazine called Student. Broke but fearless, he followed it with a mail order record store run out of a phone booth. That hustle became Virgin Records, signing acts nobody else believed in, like the Sex Pistols, and turning them into global hits. Branson didn't stop there. He launched Virgin Atlantic in 1984, and after one canceled flight, believe it or not, left him stranded and no aviation background and no big investors. He just borrowed an airplane and a bigger dream, starting that airline. Everyone said he'd fail, but instead, he delivered better food, better service, better vibes, and built an airline that forced the whole industry to step up. And he's doing that with the cruise industry right now. But he also took some punches, and that's what I like. He almost went bankrupt multiple times. Sir Richard Branson, he launched over 400 companies under the Virgin brand since 1970. But out of those, roughly 30, more than 30, have publicly failed, disappeared, or shut down. Here's some of the big ones: Virgin Cola, Virgin Vodka, Virgin Brides, Virgin Clothes, Virgin Cars, Virgin Digital, Virgin Cosmetics, Virgin Charter, Virgin Comics, Virgin Megastores. They all failed and went bankrupt. But Branson himself, he said he had more failures than successes, but the wins, man, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Galactic, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Money, and Virgin Voyages. And that's what I'm on right now. And they have been massive enough to build a global empire. You see, he said every setback became a springboard. Today, the Virgin Group has over 400 companies, including Virgin Galactic and Virgin Voyages, the ship I'm sailing on right now. His philosophy was simple: screw it, let's do it. I love that, Paul. Try big things, have fun, treat people well, make life a reminder that courage beats credentials and the world belongs to the brave. You know, Dr. Paul and Ace, I have made this little ditty up, but I say that he has produced the Virgin Voyage 5. What do you think about that, Ace?
Well, that is one heck of a story, and you told it brilliantly. I think I'm the perfect way to capture the Virgin Voyage vibe, like you said. Branson's whole journey is basically a masterclass in taking risks, having a blast while doing it, and turning failures into stepping stones. So, yeah, I'd say he definitely embodies that whole fearless, fun loving spirit that makes Virgin Voyages what they are. It's a great fit for the Wingman show.
Well, great. What do you think, Dr. P?
Well, yeah, he's an amazing guy, and, you list his accomplishments, it's a never-ending list, but you're out in the Caribbean. Doesn't he own an island in, the British Virgin Islands? He owns an island, I think.
He sure does. And
Maybe
believe it or not, I know a little story about that island, Paul.
Oh, really?
Yes, he wanted to buy the island, and he told the guy he'd give him $1,000,000 for the island. The guy said, "Are you crazy? There's no way I'm gonna sell this island for $1,000,000." Well, this is how wealthy people get even wealthier. Because he was not emotionally tied to the island, 5 years, that guy came back and said, "I'll sell it for $1,000,000." And that's how he got that island. How about that?
Oh, wow, yeah. It's funny, guy sounds like he started off with, a number of disabilities, but they were actually abilities. He just used, basically turn a negative into a positive, which I think is one of the rules of life, isn't it?
Yes, he it into a positive and learn from the past, and it looks like that's what he did, Paul.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The title of the show today is How to Conquer Inflation, Make More Money. You know, I can't wrap my head around today's prices. These prices are incredible, Dr. Paul. You know, if you take a date out for a movie, a teenager, you need $50 now, don't you think?
It'd be more than more than that. I mean, everything's afforded. It's funny you bring that up. I mean, that's the topic of discussion every minute. Even there's some seasoning I use to season cauliflower, and you get like 3 packets for whatever. Now it's 1 packet for the same amount of money. Yeah, the price goes up, but the stuff you get is lower. For example, this is my little pet peeve, the boxes in the grocery store, whatever you buy, the boxes, it may be smaller, it might be the same size, but it's less in it. You can shake it. There's a lot of stuff like that. Shrinkflation. You're getting less and you really are spending more money. Everybody's spending more money on just about everything except a hard time. A hard time is cheap to come by.
Very good, Dr. Paul. Well, how do you beat that? Because things are getting more expensive. I think you have to reinvent yourself and start making more money. I think you need to find something else that you like to do and try it. And just like Richard Branson did, just keep trying till it hits. And failure doesn't mean always failure. I think you just said that, Dr. Paul. Make a negative into a positive and learn from the past. So some of your failures actually might be your best teachers. Well, actually, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, because, well, that's probably something you're not gonna do again. So you save some time, but you really gotta get started. Everybody wants from a sports analogy, score the winning basket, score the touchdown, hit the home run first time. Few things happen like that. That's just fantasy and dreams. It's usually like small steps along the way, but you gotta get started, take some chances, and most of the time you're gonna miss. You're not gonna be perfect starting out. Nobody is. That's just fantasy in the movies. Real life isn't like that.
No, real life isn't like that. But, I wanted to tell you this, Paul. You ever notice with inflation, like, let's just say a hamburger goes up to $2, at McDonald's, or $3 or $4. Well, even when inflation stops and things start getting better, the price doesn't come back down.
That
It
has never
never
ch
comes back down.
You're right. Yeah, price reductions. When's the last time you saw that?
I didn't even know that was a word.
Going out of business sale. Some places, I mean, they've been going out of business furniture stores, they've been going out of business for like 20 years.
Yes.
There's one in Memphis I remember. Was it, I forgot the furniture brand. They're going out of they're going out of business from the early '80s to about, like, 2010 or something like that.
I think it touches people's, emotions that, wow, I can get a good deal because this guy's losing it and he's not making any more money. So he's going to have to sell everything and I can take advantage of it. Don't you think?
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. You just have a new story, and it just intrigues people, like Crazy Eddie. He's insane at the electronics store, the guy, like, he's in a straight jacket, and they pulled him away. He did pretty well. I think he had some, a lot of negative things, but Crazy Eddie.
Crazy.
Nice.
That's East Coast right there.
Yes.
All right. Well, the Wingman Show, what we try to do. No, not what we try to do. You can't say try. Either you do it or you don't. What we do is we bring good news to the people because there's enough bad news out there. So, how about this good news? Drones now deliver AEDs during real 911 calls. Every minute counts when someone's heart stops. And in the US, more than 350,000 people suffer cardiac arrest each year, and only fewer than 10% survive. Most of these emergencies happen at home, far from life saving equipment. Now, if an A&D can be used within 2 to 3 minutes of a cardiac arrest, survival rates can jump up to 70%. But the EMS, the emergency services, often take 8 to 10 minutes to arrive. Now, drones carry automated external defibrillators, which are AEDs, and now they're being dispatched during real 911 calls in Forsyth County, North Carolina, actually. The effort is part of a clinical trial that aims to see if drones can deliver AEDs to patients faster than traditional emergency services. How cool is that, Paul? Not just for delivering packages, but for delivering something that's life-saving.
Yeah, that's tremendous. You see these AEDs all over the place. We saw them on our airplanes, the last few years. They put them all over the place, for it to be a life-saving device. And now I think these drones are gonna fly, they're gonna fly like 200 to 300 feet in the air, drop down, and then there's like a little winch that's gonna lower the, AED so someone can just grab it, which is tremendous. And that could even help on, where you are at sea. I'm sure they've got everything. Let's just say they needed something small from one ship to the other. Throw it on a drone, put it right over there, drops it down, saves lives, you know?
Well, you know what trips me out, Doc? I was thinking when they drop this AED, how does the person even know how to use it? And I kept reading in the story. Well, what happens is the 911 call, they don't hang up. So the operator actually gives you instructions how to use that AED advice. It's one of those things that clear, boom, they hit you in the chest.
Which
But
is
it'll
good.
save lives. And I think that's an incredible advantage using these drones, don't you?
Yeah, also those AEDs, some of them, well, actually, when you open them and turn them on, they have recorded messages to tell you what to do also. You don't have to talk to anybody, it just talks to you. I've seen those. And you want another, good drone story similar to it? I was at an engi
100%. I'd love that.
Yeah, I was at an engineering conference. It was a, exhibition, really, and I was walking through, and this group of students had this drone that they're working on, and it was gonna transport people, transport a person that was hurt in a remote area. They'd be able to be strapped into this drone, strapped into it, and it could lift about 212 pounds and take it about a mile and a half if you're caught in a crevice. They didn't demonstrate, it was just in the exhibition hall, and they were trying to get it together. They were engineering students, mechanical engineers, who, a couple of them were nurses also. They're trying to get this thing to market. It's amazing.
That's incredible. Well, that tells people right there you need to lose weight. You can't be real fat out there, or that drone won't be able to pick you up, huh?
Right. Yeah, that's true. I think he has a weight limit on it. So, yeah, watch that shrinkflation. Maybe it's good, eating all that at McDonald's.
Right. Damn, I'm 215. It won't pick me up.
Yeah, and now McDonald's is mad at us, but, there you go.
Well, whatever. You sent me this story. How about this good news? You've heard of kidney stones. I've always heard how painful they are, and thank you God that I haven't had any. But kidney stones are supposed to be really extremely painful. Well, you sent this story. Now they have something that can dissolve painful kidney stones in the urinary tract using tiny robots. This new technique, tested in a life-size 3D printed model, features thin spaghetti-like strips fitted with magnets that can be moved into place near uric acid kidney stones with a robotic arm operated by doctors, and it can actually dissolve these stones until they can actually come out. I've heard horror stories about the pain of kidney stones. Haven't you?
Yeah, I've heard in fact, the worst horror story I heard was from a doctor friend of mine. He said his was actually the worst. He's talked about it for about 25 years. I've never had it. I was told, and I've read many places, one of the best ways to avoid the kidney stones is to drink a lot of water because it's typically a stone that forms over probably many years, maybe decades, and then becomes blocked. Yeah, this new device basically kind of melts them. I guess how do they get the device out? I guess the device maybe that melts too after a while.
Yeah, I think they do that. I think it actually goes away. Drinking that water, what you just said is life-saving. I don't drink sodas anymore. I only drink seltzer and water, really. And I'm amazed when somebody pops open a soda in this day and age. I mean, they're so bad for you. Anytime a soda can take off paint from a car, I don't think it should go into your body. Do you?
No, not at all, because basically sodas are liquid sugars. And just recently, I saw a thing where they're going to develop anti-obesity drugs for children as young as a few years old. That's a bad sign.
It's a
Don't
very
do it.
bad sign, and that's very bad parenting if you let your child
Yep.
become obese. It's ridiculous. And a lot of that, you and I talk, they're not going outside and playing anymore. They're not doing physical activities. You and I, when we were young, we'd go out in the street with nothing or a ball and have fun all day long. And
Yes.
we'd make up games if we had to. Now it's a lot of video and computer and texting and on that phone. And so they're losing a lot of that physical activity, Paul.
Yeah, I guess the sign of old age is remember people say, stop all that running. You're running too much. Quit. We were running too much. We were moving too much. Got in trouble for that. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Stop. My mother, especially, stop playing ball in the house. Well,
Right.
that brings back terrible memory. I'm so sorry. My mother had a Picasso plate, probably, an imitation Picasso plate that she
Uh-oh.
really loved. And she kept telling me, stop playing ball, buddy Drew, stop playing ball in the house. And I swear, Paul, I feel sorry to this day that ball hit that plate and broke it. And it
Uh,
really hurt her feelings. And it's just one of those core memories I'm not going to forget. I'm sorry, Ma,
yeah. A misbehaving child.
misbehaving. Well, thanks once again for listening to us on Apple Podcasts, watching us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. We truly appreciate all the support you guys have given us. We really, really do appreciate it. And we have a website, everybody, and that website is wingmanshow.com. That's WINGMEN show.com. And on that website that we have a newsletter. And this week's newsletter pertains to our title, How to Supplement Your Income, Make More Money. So I advise everybody to listen to or read our newsletter because it's incredible. Also on that website, we have something called the frequent flow line. And that's where people out there can ask Dr. Paul and myself any question you want. We will try to answer it. Well, this one, Dr. Paul, comes from Fallon, Nevada. And I don't know about you, Oh, well, I do know you've been out there because we used to have Navy debts out there, and a det is a detachment. So we used to take the squadron out there and fly our airplanes. You know that Fallon was the place that I soloed. You're talking about a core memory. The first time in an airplane by myself, what a memory. And also in Fallon, they had a small casino, and I even heard they had a brothel out there, Dr. Paul.
Mhm. Like Fallon. Oh, you soloed in Fallon, not Corpus Christi?
That's right. We went out on a debt to Fallon and soloed there.
Oh, okay.
Incredible.
I've been out there I did like it. I think I was out there, like, once ever. It was a grand time. We always said we had a grand time because everything cost about a grand. So
Well, we also dropped live ordnance out there. When I went to A6s, we took the squadron out there and dropped live bombs out there. So there was a lot of fun out there. Well, I have a letter from Fallon, Nevada that they sent us on the frequent flow line. We'd love to hear your opinion. All right. Dear Commander Brown, Dr. Paul, and Ace, I'm reaching out to you from Fallon, Nevada. I'm 35 and I used to serve in the Navy, stationed right here, based in town. These days, I'm working as a dealer in one of the local casinos. But honestly, I'm feeling stuck in that same old rut. The lifestyle here, the gambling, smoking, drinking, and partying scene is just not for me anymore. And I'm ready to take a new step in life. I really look up to all of you and love the show. I tune in every week, and I'm hoping you can give me a little bit of that gouge on how to really better myself and move in a more positive direction. Thank you so much for your service and for everything you do. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Sincerely, a Navy vet from Fallon. What do you think about that, Ace?
Absolutely. That's a thoughtful letter. It sounds like the listener is really seeking a fresh start and some guidance to move away from that environment. We could definitely encourage them to explore new interests, maybe connect with local community groups, or even look into online courses or volunteer opportunities. It's all about finding that new direction and building a positive routine. We can definitely craft a supportive response for 'em.
Excellent. Dr. Paul, what do you think?
yeah, I was thinking that what Ace said there caught my attention. He said something about online courses. I was going to say, consider going back to school, or as a comedian said, I don't need to go back to school. I just need to go to school. Anything that's a joke. Anything that increases your knowledge and experience is good. Sounds like you say you're 35 years old. That's not old at all. You're young. You're still a young man. You got plenty of time to get into something new. Again, we've been talking about AI. Look at AI. Even people at the top universities are switching to AI from things that were like computer engineering, computer training. They're going now with an AI bias, a positive AI bias. I say look at AI if you want something different that's going to have a future. It has a present. That's going to have a future. So try that.
Well, that's amazing because my answer is just about the same, Paul. I advise you also go to school, but learn something different, learn something new. And what Dr. Paul was talking about is this new technology called AI. It's the very start of it because I'm amazed how many people don't know about it. This is something that you could probably get into and do very well in. But it's really important when you start your new career to find something that you really like to do. And you need to just keep looking, almost like Richard Branson again. If one fails, try another. If that one fails, try another. But if you really want to do this, you can. You just got to believe in yourself. Well, everybody out there, you love this part of the show, and here it is. I don't have my megaphone here, but I'll do the best I can. This is a Wingman PSA from the 11 Facts in Life. Be honest, open minded, and willing to change. From the 11 Facts in Life on the fact number one, be honest, open minded, and willing to change. Wow. That's a big, big step right there. First of all, being honest, especially honest with yourself. A lot of people are closed minded. They don't want to try new things. And guess what? My mother would not ever let me not try something to eat. Now, after I ate it, if I didn't like it, I didn't have to eat it anymore. But she would not let me not try something. So
Mm,
I'm thinking being honest, open-minded, and willing to change. I learned that from a young man. What do you think about that, Dr.
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah, you might be, holding yourself back if you hate things. I guess I did that myself. I looked at salmon and said, "Ah, it's pink. I don't want it." I'd never touched it. I didn't wanna get close to it until one time I was on a layover and everything was closed, and that's all they had left, and I was starving. I said, "Well, I'll try it." Loved it. So, of course, that took, what, about 35 years. But, having that attitude, you know, uh, I starved myself from something that probably would have been real good for me for a long time.
Well, the only thing I hated, and I still do, is canned asparagus. That's the only thing I can
Ah,
remember would not eat again. It was gross. But anyway, let's do the gouge. And let's do the gouge with Ace, because Ace loves listening to the gouge and loves giving the gouge. And what is the gouge? Well, in the Navy, the gouge is shit you need to know, but sometimes nobody told you. So today, Ace, I'd like to hear what your thoughts and give us the gouge on taking a cold shower or actually doing a cold dip. Why is that good and why should we do it?
Absolutely. So the gouge on cold showers or cold dips is that it can really boost your alertness, help reduce inflammation, and even improve your mood by releasing endorphins. Plus, it helps with resilience and mental toughness. It's a great way to kickstart your day and build a bit of grit. Definitely something we're trying out.
That's great, Ace. Dr. Paul, you tell me that you take cold showers to get this, and I went out and bought an actual cold dip. Tell me about your experience with cold showers or cold dips.
yeah, the thing is the opera word is the cold. I wonder if working out in the cold is a benefit too, because I enjoy doing that too. I mean, I'm not naked or anything like that, but sometimes it gets pretty cold here in the winter months. But that part about cutting down the inflammation, that's what got my attention. That's kind of the reason that I do that. And it does wake you up, does get you going. It's a little bit unpleasant for the first couple of seconds and maybe the whole time, but, your endurance builds up for every second that you do it. I don't think you have to do it that long. I think really just maybe really a couple of minutes to get the benefits of it, not just to shock your system, but to maybe shock it and then get it to tolerate that cold exposure, the hot and cold. Because as soon as you get out of the cold dip or turn the water off, you warm up right away because you got warm blood inside of you. So you recover instantly. Although while you're doing it, it is maybe a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, Dr. Drew turned me on to this, as my son always does, turns me on to good, healthy things. But that cold dip is incredible. Katrina, who does not like the cold, even started to do it, and she felt much better. And
Mhm.
you are right. In the beginning, it's kind of tough. But I do a little meditation and that breathing in that cold dip, the breathing techniques that we talked about. And you know what? I feel so much better after I do cold dips and my energy's up. And like you said, as you get a little bit older, you start getting some aches and pains, and aches and pains are caused by inflammation. And that cold dip, it knocks it out. So I advise anybody out there, if you can, start taking cold showers or even invest in a cold dip. Right now, it's kind of cold out there, so I just jump in the pool.
There you go.
It was called the Wingman Show, and it's because we always talk about somebody helping somebody else. And that's what a real wingman is, somebody who's looking out for you all the time. And I got a good one. It's called the Airport Angel. A woman in her 70s is traveling from Dallas to Miami. She gets confused at the airport, goes to the terminal, and misses her connection. She sits down crying because she thinks she'll never make it in time for her granddaughter's graduation, and she's confused. A young Marine in uniform sees her and walks right over. He says, "Ma'am, I'm your wingman now. We got this." Believe it or not, he takes her bag, marches her over to customer service, gets her rebooked on the next flight, and then escorts her all the way to the gate. He even grabs her a sandwich while they wait. When they finally board, she squeezes his arm and says, Thank you, my son. My husband used to do this for me. And you know what he said? He said, ma'am, he still is. I'm just filling in.
That is nice. That is nice. Yeah, we all need a wingman at times. And sometimes they can come out of literally out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, I love that it's a Marine because you and I were both trained by Marines by being Navy jet pilots. I don't think the Marines train them anymore, but it was an experience I won't ever forget. So, Marines, I look up to so much. Everybody out there, thank you once again for listening to our show. And just remember anything that you think is important and anything that you think is beautiful, and especially anything that makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. And I hope the rest of your trip goes fine. We appreciate all those who listen, like, and share the message. Pass this on to somebody that you know. Maybe it'll brighten up their day. They might learn something new. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. That way you'll get a notification every time we put out a new episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.